With the pandemic raging and his last electoral chances dead or dying, the outgoing president of the United States is still refusing to accept that, you know what? It doesn't matter. He can't just sabotage their efforts, of course. And sadly, that is one thing the president is doing that really does matter.